you think about it, think about like Jeff Bezos or like anybody, like they're not doing the things that they were doing when they started the business.
No, he's not packed. He probably hasn't packed a book and boxes for years.
Nothing, man. So it's just like, if you want to scale and grow, like just ask yourself, what do I need to delegate to elevate?
Ooh.
What do I need to delegate to elevate, right? What's up, everybody? Michael Tucker here with the $1 Million Secrets podcast. If you want to make some sales, just a little bit of sales, but not be salesy, this conversation today is for you. I got my guy Bruce here in the building. This dude is a sales killer. What I love about this guy is he helps people make sales simple. Make sales simple. And so we're going to have a conversation today. Is that cool if we just talk about how to make sales simple, man?
Let's do it.
Because I think sales, and we'll get into who you are a little bit in
sure.
just a little bit, but sales is one of those things people are like, especially the introverts. If you're an introvert watching this.
Shout out to the introverts.
Yeah, you're probably like, I don't want to talk on phones with people. I don't want to do Zoom calls and try to sell my program. So I'm hoping that this conversation today, the goal is to give them enough confidence that they can go out there and crush their sales without needing to be salesy. So let's get it.
If we can do that, this is a successful
podcast.
Then I'm going to make sure we do that. So check this out. This works really great for services, but even if you have a product, and let's say for whatever reason, you're driving, you're going to pick up the kids, you're not going to make it through the end of this, come back and rewatch it. But for right now, I want to tell you, talk about the problems. This is the number one thing I see most people do not do loud enough or often enough. Let's say I'm working with a restaurant owner and say, Bruce, I need your help. We'll say, okay, what problem do you solve? And say, oh, we got delicious food. I'm like, okay, but what problem do you solve? Like, oh, we got fast and friendly service, man. Better than Chick-fil-A. Okay, great. But what problem do you solve, right? Oh, we're always on time. We get your order right 100% of the time. It's pretty impressive. But what problem do you solve?
Right. Those aren't problems.
And after
solutions.
a little bit, people get it faster and slower. They're like, oh, people are hungry.
Right.
That's the problem. You talk about the problem first, and then you can talk about all the fancy bells and whistles. You'll hear yes more often. It makes sales super simple.
Let's go. We'll dive into that. So tell everybody a little bit about who you are. Are you like sales ninja forever? Did you just like get out of high school, go to college, get a sales job? What did that look like? I think I know a little bit of your story because I heard you talking about it, but share with everybody how you got into sales and why you're so passionate about this mission you're on.
I got on sales where all great stories start. I got fired. Right? We all did. So before you're like, oh, what'd you do, Bruce? No. The whole company got fired. They got sold, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, man, what do I do now? I was tired of working 40 hours and get paid 40 hours. Even though my numbers were better, my customer service scores were higher, I got the same check as everybody else. Even though I was doing more, I was getting paid the same. And so I called my buddy up, I asked him for his advice. And you have to be careful with this because if he had sold houses, I might be a real estate broker, right? If he sold insurance, I might be an insurance broker.
Right.
If he had sold drugs, I could be dead or in jail. Fortunately for all of us, he sold cars. So guess what he told me to do? He said, hey, go sell cars. And I'm not going to teach you to sell cars. Don't panic. But I am going to teach you the things I did wrong and things I did right. And that's how I got started. That's where I became a sales professional. And I learned that no one really goes to buy a car because they like cars. It's because they need to go to work.
Right.
They need to pick up their family. They have problems. And so when I started solving problems, I did numbers. Top 100 in the company, back-to-back President's Club awards. That's where we took off. That's where now I tell people, hey, one new skill will change your life.
Powerful. So who's this for? So this is for everybody, everybody who wants to increase their sales, or who are we speaking to today?
So I want to talk to, there's two people. There's an individual contributor. Maybe you're like me, you're starting off, you're struggling, you really want to make this role work. And I want to talk to the sales leader. That could be the business owner, that could be the solopreneur, that could be the sales manager. Says, hey, look, I need to grow the revenue for my business, for my team. I need a strategy so we can consistently hit our revenue goals. So I'm talking to you all.
Gotcha. Love it. All right. So let's talk about it. You said problems, right? How does somebody go about finding out the problems that their potential customers are facing? Is it just simply asking them, or what's that look like?
That's not
because as you said, you were talking about the restaurant example, right? And the people were like, we serve food fast, right? We have great customer service. Those aren't the problems. So people are coming in, they're like, I don't really know what the problems my people are facing. What do you do?
Man, you actually answered your question. I make sales simple. I'm not going to give you a 40-minute master class. It really is about asking them. And I teach Asking Better Questions course. Ask questions that start with who, what, where, when, why, or how. Open-ended questions help create a conversation, and they lead to clarity. So closing-ended questions, they can answer yes or no. Those lead to decisions. But most people start there instead of ending there. We start with the open-ended questions. They start to realize things they didn't realize about themselves. And that's where you see the light bulb, their eyes go, oh, I get it now. And that's when you're like, yes, there's another one.
Gotcha. So man, this is cool because I never really thought about that. So you were saying like in theoretical sales situations, a lot of people lead with yes or no questions. Hey, are you struggling with leads in your business? Yes. Are you struggling with closing sales? No. And it's like there's nothing to really talk about, nothing to dive into. So go into that a little bit. So you're talking about the who. You said who, what,
where, when, why,
oh, how, and how. And so how do you go about finding those questions?
Actually, I wasn't planning on doing a freebie that soon, but you can go to www.askingbetterquestions.com and I have a question set for you. So you can just borrow mine. There you go. That's pretty easy. Here's what I want to recommend. A lot of people, and it's a whole nother conversation, they try and help everybody a little bit. What I found is much more impactful and profitable is helping a few people a lot in a big way. So let's take folks that are struggling with generating leads. If you're helping the same person over and over again, you're going to start to hear the same problems over and over again. You're going to start to ask the same questions over and over again. And that's when you write those down. And that's where Bruce comes in. We build a SOP, standard operating procedure for your business. So now we can train to hire and scale. The best way to figure out what problems your customer has is to ask them. And when you start having conversations, you'll say, oh, wow, I didn't even think to ask that question. You can write that down so you can ask it on purpose the next time.
Right. Love it. Love it. I've seen this trick. I don't know if it's doable, but there's a website where you can see what people are Googling and you can kind of see what people are YouTubing. Have you ever used any softwares like that to like see what people are talking about on the internet to help you maybe diagnose what problems your clients are having? Like, I don't know what it's called, but I think Neil Patel owns it. There's a website called, you know what I'm talking about?
I do. And I cannot think of the name.
I can't think of it either, but you can literally type in like your industry, like real estate, and it'll show all the topics, like how to fund real estate. And it'll show all those. So is there any like tools? I'm just curious because everybody's big on AI and software right now. So like, what's your thoughts on all that when it comes to sales?
And we're gonna have to find that and put in the show notes. So what you said was really important. If the topic's real estate, the first thing you said was how to ... That's a question.
Right.
And you can reverse engineer this in your business and think to yourself, what questions are the people I'm looking for asking? And you can use those questions to make it really easy to find you. So let's just use my example. I started on sales. I was awful. I was really in danger of being fired. And worse, maybe more important, I was looking for an eviction notice. The car is going to get towed, right? It's going to be repossessed.
How long ago was that?
This was going on 10 years now. So
you've been doing sales for 10 years or longer?
It's actually my first sales job. I didn't know it was a sales job. I was fundraising for the university. And this light bulb didn't happen till years after this. But I was calling people, alumni from the university, and asking them for money, and I wasn't giving them anything. That's the craziest sale ever.
That's a lot harder.
Like, right? Hey, would you like to donate $25,000 to the university? Sure. All right, here's a Christmas card. That's not a good deal. Who's taking that deal? And this is where I had to realize people don't buy based on price. They don't even buy based on how good your pitch was. They buy on the desired result and outcome. So for those people, it was important to them to make a difference. It was important to them to give back. It was important for them to be remembered for someone that was philanthropic. So let's re-engineer that for our businesses. People don't come to me because they want to become the killer closer or the master manipulator. They want to hear yes more often without sounding salesy. Well, how do I help them do that? And so I ask myself, what are they dealing with? Well, I don't want to talk to people. So I teach them pre-sales so that people come onto their calendar ready to say yes.
Pre-sales?
Yeah, I love pre-sales.
So, okay, we'll get to that in a second.
Okay.
Because I'm curious. I'm like, what's that? Like, what's that mean?
we can teach them how to write a training so that they can have an appointment set or do it for them. We can make it automated depending on the service, how customized it. Let's automate the whole thing so you're only talking to people that already paid. There's so many ways to make sales simple. People just try to make it difficult, and I'm not a fan of that. I like easy. I like simple.
Hey, I do too. I'm sure everybody watching likes easy and simple too. So that's why we're having this conversation. Pre-sale.
Okay.
What do you mean? Go into that.
Pre-sales is what happens before they buy.
Okay.
It's very simple. I like simple. You're seeing the pattern here. Maybe that'll be my next book, Sales Made Simple. Somebody write that down. And what happens is a lot of people get on a discovery call. Maybe this has happened to you, right? Your 15-minute discovery call turns into a 40-minute coaching call.
That's happened to me.
And it doesn't turn into a client. Now let's think about my poor introverts. You're drained, you're tired, and you're frustrated because now you don't have the time back and you don't have any money to show for it. How much better would you be if the conversations ended with a new client, right? So here's what you do. I have 2 very simple options for my calendar, just 2. And when someone looks at it, they say, oh, hey, that's me. And they click on that one. So now when I see it on my calendar, I already know who I'm talking to. All right.
When you say 2 options, what do you mean?
So one is going to be for the solopreneur or individual contributor. And one's going to be for the business owner or sales leader. Simple. I like simple.
Right.
So now if I see a red one pop up, oh, it's a business owner. I got to talk to them as a business owner. If I see the green one pop up, oh, it's a solopreneur. I know the problems they have because I've been there. That's step 1. Step 2 is I ask, I think it might be 8 questions. So you can go test it. It's www.brucehill.online. Test it out. See how it works. And then once they choose a time and date, they get a video.
Right.
It's short and sweet. It might be 90 seconds. And it tells them what to expect. It tells them who it's for. It tells them who it's not for. That's important. And it lets them know there'll be an investment. So, hey, listen, I want to help you. And it's going to cost you an investment. There's no transformation without a transaction. So now, and every now and then it happens, you'll see it pop on the calendar. You'll see it canceled. Great.
Which is a good thing.
That's a great thing.
Right.
I didn't waste your time. You didn't waste mine. Everybody's happy. And because I only want to talk to people that are tired of their problems and want to get rid of them. And they're willing to trade their problems for a few dollars.
That's awesome. So you're pre-framing these people before the call, what to expect, what you're going to do, what you're not going to do.
That's important.
You're not going to sit there and coach them for an hour.
Nope.
Man, that's super dope. You know, I've heard it done similar, but not the way you're talking about it. So that's really simple. So I like that.
A lot of people like to use a 2-call framework. If that works and I can set that up.
Do you do a 2-call framework or no? Or
If you educate them before the call, before you educate them, before you talk to them, that's where most of the time is spent. It's on educating them.
Yeah, because most people I know, like they teach the appointment setter will set a triage call or like a 15-minute call. And then there's a second call for like an hour or 45 minutes. You're saying that's not necessarily needed?
Unless you're really getting into a customized solution where I'm thinking software or maybe an event where you have to have, it's not copy paste. No, I think it only takes 1 call. And I mean, I've done it over and over again.
Over and over again.
Yeah.
Made a lot of money with it.
And I've helped other people make a lot of money. That's what I really like to brag about.
Ooh, that's cool. I need to hit you up then about this process because
it'd be my pleasure.
Right now we're building in our business the 2-call model. And so I'm like, you see his face. He goes, oh, you're one of those. Because that's what I've been taught, right? That's what people have taught me with sales. And it's worked for some people. So I'd love to learn that strategy. So you talked about mainly for you, like your person that you want to work with is like business owners, solopreneurs. That's like who you are kind of working with right now. Let's say somebody that has random business and they are selling, I'm just making this up, roofing services. Okay. Same structure, or what's that look like?
Well, great question. So when we talk about a traditional blue collar service, there are a few details. A great tool is Service Titan. If you're a roofer, you're not using that, I strongly recommend that resource. No affiliate, go, Google it. So one of the challenges roofers have, and maybe everyone, is people don't look at their roof.
Right.
People don't curl up on the roof and sit there like, I haven't looked at this in 5 years. So for roofers, there's 2 things you can do today to help you make money today. And it's going to be more education. And then the second is going to be visuals. If you're door knocking, email, door hanger, you should have a side by side of what a bad roof looks like and a good
And I think
roof.
this is good because like people watching this are not going to be roofers, but I just want to give an example because this could be used in other industries, right? Where necessarily people aren't aware of their problems necessarily. So in this scenario, it sounds like you're saying the people that roofing companies would be targeting, they don't really know the problems that are up on their roof.
When's the last
how do
time
you
you've been
educate
on
them?
a roof?
Me, I have a house flipping company, so I've been on.
Bad example.
Yeah, it's a bad example. We renovate houses for, but normally people don't, right? Anybody, you guys been on a roof lately? No, okay, you haven't. So, but you're educating them on the problem because they can't see the problem. Is that what you're saying?
Solutions are useless without a problem. So I'm going to show them problem. Say, here's a good roof. Here's a bad roof. What does your roof look like?
But how does that translate to marketing? Because we're talking about sales. So does that mean the marketing, you need to implement make the problem aware in the marketing?
Great question. So let's define this. People ask, so is it sales or marketing? I say it's both. So marketing has two pieces. There's awareness and education. Sales has two pieces: is education and conversion. All right, that's turning that conversation into a client.
Okay.
So they overlap, and you really can't have one without another. Because if I don't have anyone to sell to, then it doesn't matter how good I am. I could have 100% closing rate for 0 people. That's not paying any bills. But if I have all this awareness, I have 1,000 new people, and I actually got off the phone with the lead generator today. A client was upset because they got him all these leads, but none of them turned into clients. Well, whose fault is that? They didn't have a system, a sales success system to turn those conversations into clients. So let's back to your marketing question. They have to be aware of the problem. They have to be aware that you offer a solution. So that is technically marketing. And then the conversation is, here's an example. This is a good roof. This is a bad roof. What does your roof look like? Question. We'll take a look for you. That's that consultation.
Right.
And that consultation, you say, hey, take a couple pictures. This is what your roof looks like. Here's what I recommend. Would you like to get started? Simple.
Dude, I like how simple you made this. I'm like, I'm going to pick up this book. I'm like, is this like that's a small book too. That shows how simple it is.
I could have, listen, I've been doing this for 15 years, 10 years on purpose. I could have written this 400, 500 page book, but I'm not here to impress you. I'm here to help you increase your income.
Everybody wants that.
So I kept it as short and sweet and actionable as possible.
Let's get into it. All right, cool. Love it. Another question I have, because I'm not the best at sales. Okay. People who are here and they're watching, they're probably going to be course creators, digital entrepreneurs.
Oh, wonderful. Okay.
So consultants, stuff like that. And they don't have a sales team. That's me. Like I'm just now starting to build a sales team. Mm-hmm. Do you recommend building a sales team? Like when you're just starting out a business? Because you can hire a lot of closers and they're like commission based, right?
You could do that. Yeah, sure.
So what's that look like? Do you recommend it, or do you recommend that the person learn sales first? Me learn sales first before I hire a sales team.
So there's two ways to approach it. I'll give you the simple way first. My first question is, what would happen to your business if you didn't hire anyone? And this is something I've learned from working with tech startups is every dollar counts. It has to be reported back to investors. So I'm like, okay, first of all, before we do this, what happens if we don't? And what they'll realize a lot of times is not a matter of hiring a new person. It's just managing their resources, namely their time, more effectively. And that's where the one call close I set up is so valuable. Because the introverts love it because there's less conversations. The busy business owner loves it because they're only talking to people that are ready to buy. And you can use technology and automation to act as a 24/7 assistant.
Right.
Now, after some point and a certain price point, that 2-call close does become more valuable. But I wrote an article on this last month. Before you hire a single person, make sure your SOPs, your sales training, and your CRM is set up for their success. Because you're going to hire them, they're going to fail, they're going to be mad at you, you're going to be mad at them, you're going to waste both your time, and you haven't made any money. And so that's where people hire me is, okay, do we have the sales success system in place to make sure that this is profitable for both of us?
Right. So get everything built out first. Mm-hmm. How long does that take you to build out? Like if you were, I'm not saying
if you do what you're supposed to,
not you, but like somebody like me, how long would that take to build out?
If you do what you're supposed to, I could get it done in 30 days.
30 days.
Mm-hmm. If you want to speed it up, we could talk. But most folks, the busy person, we got to keep the business running. 30 days, no problem.
Because most people don't have SOPs and these things. And actually, that's what I've learned as growing a team. We only have like 6 people on our team, and that's not a lot.
It's a solid team.
That's not a lot, but what I've learned is like every time we hire somebody new, I'm like, oh, we need an SOP for that. And then because they ask all these questions and it drains me asking me questions and vice versa. It drains their energy waiting. Mm-hmm. And so SOPs, do you have like a framework for building those out? Like, what's that look like? I know you probably have a lot of frameworks.
I do actually.
I'm sure it's probably very simple, but
it is. It is.
Because there's some people here that are like, I've been needing to do that. I've been needing to build out some SOPs, standard operating procedures for some of you guys that aren't aware. But I need to build those out. And so what's the ground level? How would you build those out?
So let's keep it real simple. I like a tool. Now, they need to give me a affiliate because I tell everyone about this tool. It's called Loom, Loom.
Yep.
I absolutely love them. It's a screen capture tool. And in fact, if you schedule a call, I think the video I recorded was on Loom, right? Super easy to use. And you can just walk through what you do on a day-to-day or what you want someone else to do. Simple. Actually, that's it, period, full stop. So that's step one is grab a tool like Loom to document the process. Now, here's what you have to do. You're like, well, what do I document? Ask yourself this question. Who do they need to talk to? What problem are we solving? Which solution solves that problem? And how do they pay? If you could document those 4 things, you can get someone up and running. So who do they need to talk to? This is important. I see people miss this. This is the second thing I see. They know what the ideal client looks like, but they don't know what the poor fit looks like. You ever see like the old Westerns and there's like a picture on the wall, it's like wanted, dead or alive. You need to have a picture of who you're not and under any circumstances going to work with. And you need to be able to write that out or at least talk it out loud so your salesperson, so your employees can be like, oh no, my boss warned me about you. No, thank you. Thanks, but no thanks. If you do that, if you have that contrast, that black and white, you'll be off to a good start.
Powerful, man. Powerful. And so challenge for you guys. If you don't have SOPs in place, go do it. Go use Loom. Loom is super easy. That's actually what we use.
See?
So,
My guy.
But it's super easy. And they actually have a free version, right?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, they have a free version. So what you can do is record every single thing you do in your business, right? So everything you want to delegate. So the camera guy here, he's talking about hiring a team. All right. So we were talking about offline. He's like, man, I got to hire some people. I'm tired. I got to do something. So him editing this video right now or producing, he could go through and be like, hey, this is exactly how I like to edit my videos, right? This is the fonts I like to use in my captions. This is the shadow, the size of the shadow in the background, every single detail. So they're never going to have to come to him and ask questions. They could just go do it. And there's some things you'll be like, but Michael, that's stupid. I'm not going to document how to open up a Facebook group.
Everything.
Or like, for example, or how to open up. Some people, believe it or not, don't know how to access a Gmail. Some people don't know how to access like you have to walk them through step by step. Is that right?
Monday this week, it doesn't matter when you're watching this, 4 days ago, I had to walk someone through how to use Google Drive. I was like, I put in the Google Drive for you. They're
exactly.
Like, what's that? I was like, and I made a Loom.
Yeah, see, you made a Loom once, and now he can utilize that.
Just send it.
And every time somebody asks, be like, it's in the folder of SOPs.
Yep.
Google it.
Yeah, man. I try and lead by example.
I like that. And it took me too long to do that. I'm going to be honest. Just within the past 6 months, I've been starting to do that.
Nice. I'm proud.
And that's, because we have this busy entrepreneurs. We're like, and you know this just as much as I do, because you probably were there at one point, but I think you're really good at this, is what if I hire somebody and they can't do the job as good as me?
I actually have a story about that.
Let's go into the story.
So what makes me really successful as an entrepreneur made me terrible in school because I was actually incredibly lazy. And that's where my simple framework comes from. Because I'm like, how do we do this as easily as possible?
Without having to work.
So we had this class, and every homework problem, he would give us like one problem a week. And it would be like 20 different points. It'd be like, problem 1, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L. I'm like, oh my goodness. So I would go, I'll say, hey, Michael, if you do section A, I'm going to give you sections B through F, okay? And then I go to the next person, hey, Bruce, we've already got the rest of the sections done. If you do section B, we'll give you the rest of the sections. And I would do that for every letter. And people are like, oh, this is great. It's so time consuming. And so the day before class, I say, here you go. Thank you so much for your contribution. And
Homework dealer.
And I didn't do the homework for that class ever. And I got a great grade. Now, that's unethical. Don't do that. But learning to delegate is so important. And it's what gets me in trouble in school, actually helps me a lot in business because I don't have to do anything and I really don't want to.
Yeah. And I mean, think about it. Think about like Jeff Bezos or like anybody. Like they're not doing the things that they were doing when they started the business.
No. He's not packed. He probably hasn't packed a book and boxes for years.
Nothing, man. So it's just like, if you want to scale and grow, like just ask yourself, what do I need to delegate to elevate?
Ooh.
What do I need to delegate to elevate? Right. And that's something that I've been asking myself. And there's a lot I still need to delegate. So, but awesome, man. So cool. So you were talking about building, the framework first before hiring a team, right? So that's kind of where we left off. You said, build the SOPs, get your systems in place. So, and then you can do that. And so let's talk about leading a sales team, because there's maybe some people here that they're on the opposite side. They already have a sales team. They just want to get better at leading them.
Oh, okay.
So that's in the total opposite side of things. What would be some tips? And I know there's a lot of headaches when it comes to managing, because it's managing people. It's not just building a sales team, it's managing people, and it's very results driven. So what tips would you give to optimize your performance in a sales team?
Man, that's a huge alley-oop, because this is the part I absolutely love to do. Everything I'm talking about, I'm good at doing, but I love to train the leaders and make them more effective, because if the leader's more effective, the team's more effective. They have to be, or they're going to leave. So a couple quick tips for my sales leaders and for the business owners too, because you're effectively your sales leader if you're trying to lead the team, and especially with a team of 6, everybody's got to contribute, right?
Right.
So first of all, the first concept I need you to grab is everyone in the business is a part of the sales process. And even if they're not customer facing, you have to have this mindset that what I'm doing directly impacts the problems we solve for our clients, and therefore the revenue we generate for the company. Once you switch that mindset, pause. Sales is service. I think we need to define that before I start talking, because I say sales is sales. Sales is service. And I look at sales as the transfer of enthusiasm for a product or service from one person to another, right? Mm-hmm. So I say, hey, you got to check out this movie. It was amazing. Cinematography, the writing, the acting is phenomenal. So, okay, I'm going to go see it. That's when the sale happens. They don't actually give any money until they go buy a ticket. But the money's exchanged after the sales happen. Oh man, there's this new restaurant, right? Shout out to Atlanta, shout out to Slutty Vegan. The line was around the door. People were waiting for an hour. The sale already happened. They just didn't pay any money till they got to the cash register. So every person on the team is part of the sales team. All right. That's the first thing. And because they're not taking money from customers, people don't realize that. The next thing is twofold. It's two sides of the same coin. It's a mindset, and then it's the mechanics. So when we're talking about people that are customer facing, we have to teach them the mindset. We're here to help them. Sales is a service. We're here to solve problems. The money's only going to show up if we do that well. So now I'm not taking money from you. It's such a good feeling. Someone pays me $5,000, $6,000, $7,000, and then they tell me thank you. And they're not thanking me because they gave me money. They're thanking me because they're so excited they're getting rid of their problem. And that's what I want for you all. If you solve problems, people are going to happily pay you. You're not going to have to convince them to pay you. You're not going to have to beg them to pay you. I know some of you have some invoices sitting in somebody's inbox somewhere because we didn't talk enough about the problem that we're solving for them. So when we talk about the mindset, if we could teach the sales team to serve, they're going to have better conversations. We're going to have happier clients. And then the business is going to grow. It's going to make more money. The mechanics will help them with that too.
And so I kind of relate what you're talking about. You didn't really say it directly, but I was kind of alluding to that. Maybe in some companies there's a division between the sales department or sales side and the other divisions. So I've helped grow a company. I'm not going to say what company it is, but big division in the sales. It was like sales is totally separate. It was like no communication to marketing.
Oh, they didn't even talk to the marketing team?
Very bad. Like,
goodness.
They were still making sales, but not potential.
They'd make more.
Exactly.
They need to hire me.
They need to hire, we fixed part of the issue, having more unified communication. But yeah, I like what you said. You said it's sales is in every part of the business.
Absolutely.
Sales isn't just a department.
No.
So how do you, because I did a little bit, in a scenario like that where you walk into a company, there's a division between the sales department. This is like, companies that have 5-6 departments, right? And there's just a lot of division there. How do you bring those together? How do you bring the people together unified so that ultimately the business thrives, sales go up, and everybody has a more pleasant experience?
Well, you can use a case study. I was working with a client, and we started in June, and actually I've got it. It'll be ready, but it'll be ready by the time you see this podcast. So you can check out newskillsdoyou.com. So she runs a marketing agency, and I was like, okay, I hadn't worked with a lot of marketing agencies, and she was doing so many things right. Automation setup, processes, SOPs. I'm like, crap, they've paid me. Now, how do I help them? So I'm like asking questions. She's like, yeah, we got that. And so, I'm asking some more questions. Like, yeah, we do that. And I'm like, oh man, how do I help this person?
Right.
And that's why I love marketers, because they have a lot of clarity in their messaging. And I noticed a gap, and I realized she didn't talk about the problem she solved. People were excited to work with her. She's a great personality, beautiful system set up. But I was like, listen, you talk about the problem more, pair it with the testimonials that you're already doing, you're going to make more money. And she's like, what are you talking about? I talk about the problems. And we did the same exercise, a restaurant exercise. So she starts talking about the problems. So July, they did 110% to their sales goal. So we're like, yes. All right, cool. Positive return on investment. Happy client. Great. She messaged me August 9th. She's like, Bruce, we did July already. She was like, we started talking about the problems, and our conversions been through the roof. And I was like, can you send me a video saying that? So you'll probably see it in some of our marketing materials here real soon. Because and it's so simple. That's one small change. And that's where each person in the business has to understand the business exists to create and keep customers. There's a quote by Peter Drucker. How do we create customers? By solving problems. So if you're on the graphic design team, how can I clearly communicate the problem we solve? If I'm on the customer success team, well, they already paid us, right? So I'm not part of the sales team. Well, they're here for a reason. How do we effectively solve their problem? And every team member should be able to clearly articulate that, and then we'll start seeing the whole business thrive.
Man, that's a good advice. If you guys, I want you to re-listen to that, Pat, re-listen to that testimonial and that whole story, because if you really hone in on that, I think as a leader, it gives you a different charge, right? Because as a leader, you're not only just hosting meetings, but you're sharing your belief and your vision and setting the team up ultimately for success when you're educating them on the problems you solve as a company and giving them a call to action to take part in that, right? And so you're not just hiring, like you said, a graphic designer just to do graphics, but you're including them in something much deeper, something much, much deeper.
And the work becomes more meaningful. What they do matters.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
So that's something, I'm going to be honest, I'm not the best. I need to improve at. And there's so many, I'm sure maybe you guys are singing right now. Yeah, I need to get better at that. And so we actually just interviewed somebody today, and the conversation was about belief and confidence, instilling that internally, but how can we do that in a company? So that's ultimately going to help sales. So
absolutely. If you elevate your people, you're going to elevate your company. People try and do it the other way around, and it doesn't work.
Yeah. A lot of people, they're afraid to spend resources, money, and time to pour into their people.
Ooh, I think Richard Branson? He's like, train your people so well that they could go anywhere, and then treat them so well that they don't want to.
Say that one more time.
So train your people so well they can go anywhere, but treat them so well they don't want to.
They don't want to go everywhere. So have you ever experienced that in the company? I know you're probably doing that for your company right now, because there's very little times when I've felt that way. You know what I'm saying?
I've only had one, and this is something that it kind of makes me sad to think backwards. I only had one company that really invested me as an individual, not as employee number 008.
So that shows how much potential there is for you to stand out in your business and be different.
Yeah, people want to come work for you. That's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, because I mean, as you grow a business, you're going to finding good talent, good talent. It's a little challenging. It's a little challenging. Like talent, you're like, I don't want to watch you leave, right? Now you can train people up. I feel like this is just my personal opinion. You could train people up. You could find people that are good workers. They share your mission, your vision. You can train them up to do something. But like people that are already skilled in their craft, skilled at sales, skilled at graphic designing, like you have to craft an environment like that.
Absolutely. And I don't know if y'all can read this one, but one of our mantras is one new skill will change your life. And so shout out to the introverts again. I love y'all. I'm going to say that a few more times. I don't want you to think you're like, well, I wasn't born a salesperson. Wasn't born. That's fine. Neither was I. When I used to have to get in front of more than two people, my knees would shake, palms are sweaty, right? And so I never pictured me on stages and making 5-figure offers. I never could picture that. But the good news is if you're not there, you can get there. The bad news is it's not going to happen on accident. Success isn't on accident. You have to make it a deliberate decision to say, hey, I want to work on this skill, whatever it is. It doesn't have to be sales, but whatever. It could be the bass guitar. Whatever it is you want to do, you can learn with enough practice and the right guidance to get there.
Having the right mentor probably helps too.
Let's
talk about the key to mentorship real quick. Is it cool if we talk about mentorship?
Yeah, let's do this.
Let's talk about mentorship just for a few minutes, because I feel like that could be the pathway for a lot of people to expedite their journey. So what has mentorship meant to you, man?
So I want to pull apart mentorship and coaching. So a mentor can help you see the big picture, which is invaluable. If you go this way long enough, this is how you, but a coach is a person that's going to help you on the day-to-day with the how to get there. So I want to pull those apart. Now let's do the math here. If you wanted to go, we're in Atlanta, Georgia, and you wanted to go you're going to do a road trip up to Chicago. All right. You would go north on 75 for a while. And then what do? Well, you check the map, right? That's what a mentor is for you. They can be a map. Say, hey, I've driven this before. I've made this trip before. Here's how you can get there smoothly with less trial and error and save you some time, energy, and money. So a mentor can be very valuable. You could get there. You could figure it out. Oh, Bruce, I'll watch a podcast. Oh, I'll read a book. You can do that and it will work. But do you want to get there or do you want to get there faster?
Right. So I never really thought about a difference between a mentor and a coach.
It's a subtle difference, but it's important and they overlap. I think a mentor can be a coach, but a coach isn't necessarily a mentor.
Deep. That's deep, dude. Like I'm enjoying this conversation because you're making me think differently about sales and everything. How do you go about finding the right mentor and coach to help you in sales or like upgrading your skills? Like what should somebody do? We'll just say a coach or a mentor, whatever you want. How do you like vet that and find the right person?
So let's go back to my buddy. I called him up. I asked him for advice. He gave me advice based on his life experience. If you take someone's advice long enough, you're going to end up with their life. So let me say that again. If you take someone's life advice, you're going to end up with their life. So you want to make sure this is someone whose life you want. Now, let's say they're a world-renowned chef. They run a Michelin star-rated restaurant, and you want to learn the bass guitar. You probably shouldn't ask the chef. That doesn't make them a bad person. It just makes them the wrong person.
Right.
And so the first thing I would say is, where do you want to go? Then find someone that has gone there, not who hasn't read about going there, didn't take a class about going there, but who has gone there and hopefully successfully. Now, I love learning from people who fail, which is one of my biggest boasts is I failed more times than a lot of people have tried. So when I teach you solution-based selling, the challenger sale and snap selling and spin selling, it's because I've tried them already and we can just zoom in on the one that works. And that's what a great mentor will do for you. Say, hey, I tried all of those. Skip those. Just do this one. And if you're smart enough, wise enough to just follow them the first time, man, you'll cut years off of your journey.
Man, that's powerful. Dude, this is an awesome conversation. I want to talk real quick. I know you got the book.
Oh, yeah.
You have other stuff. So let's talk about that real quick because I want to make sure that I brought you on here and thanks, dude, for coming on. Let's talk about what you got going on because I know you just released the book not too long ago, right? It was just a few months back.
Yeah, May 2023.
So just May. So let's talk about the 8 steps to sales success, how you're using this to help people and what people can do to get the book.
So this is one of a very valuable tools when we talk about pre-sales. When you're asking someone for any amount of money, they have 2 questions. Does this solve the problem I have? And what's the likelihood that it's going to work for me. Okay. And this is a very low entry point for folks. It's complete. I didn't shortcut. I didn't skip anything. Oh, you've got to buy the next to get the rest.
Right.
No, it's all in here. And that is something I want you all to think about for your business. What's a low entry point? So especially my digital course creators, before I sit down for your 10-hour, your 12-hour, your flagship course, what's a taste? What's the sample to get them started? Some people call it a funnel. And shout out to ClickFunnels, because Russell Brunson went crazy with that. But I don't want you to think you have to spend a whole bunch of money to have some fancy automated funnel. It's just a matter of where they started.
Yep.
What's their next step, and what's their final destination. That's it. That's your funnel. So for me, the book is to help you get started with the low risk, low invested. Maybe you don't have the funds, which is terribly ironic because I help people make money. So if you don't have money to invest in making more money, like, you definitely need to work with me. This is how we do it. And so again, leading by example, how can I help them the most today at the lowest risk to them today?
Powerful. So where can people go to get the book? Because I know it has everything. I'm going to check it out real quick.
Go ahead.
I haven't actually had the chance to hold this.
I'll
I'm
sign
read
one
it
for you.
Yeah, definitely do that.
Flip a page open, read a little snippet out of there. I feel like that'd be a nice
definitely, man. They got
candy.
value, cost. I'm here.
So you do that, and then I'll.
Yeah, tell them where they can get it from, because I'm seeing value versus cost. I've seen, by the way, I haven't read this personally because it just came out, but I have seen on Instagram a bunch of people sharing it. I have seen a bunch of people sharing it because they're saying, "Oh, I got the book. So yeah, 100%.
Yes. Dope. Shout out to everyone who's grabbed the Sales Success book. So it's www.salessuccessbook.com. Salessuccessbook.com. And you know what, right now, and you might yell at me for this, there's no funnel set up. There's no upsell offer. I really just want you to get all the value. But do me a favor. If you buy this book, I'll even sign it for you. If you buy this book, I need you to read it and execute. It only works if you do the work. I'm good. I'm really good, but I can't do it for you. Okay? Deal? Deal. All right.
All right, let's get it. Well, guys, go check out the book. I really hope you guys do that. One last piece of advice, just give it to anybody who's here. Like I said, most of these are digital entrepreneurs. They want to increase their sales. So what would be just one last piece of advice?
You're not going to like it, because it's the most obvious, the most simple, and the most underutilized strategy.
All right. What is it?
If you want to hear yes more often, you have to ask more people.
Numbers game.
And we could go through all these steps. There's another training I do. It's called 5 Steps to Hear Yes More Often. The first thing is to tell more people. If you tell 10 people, hey, I make sales simple, 12 people can't tell you yes. That'd be pretty impressive. I'd be a lot richer. So number 1 is to ask more people. Number 2 is ask the right people.
Ooh.
Okay. If people are like, oh, my mom didn't support my business. Your mom doesn't want to learn how to start a business. She doesn't. It's okay. She still loves you. Number 3 is going to be ask better questions. And in fact, there's a free resource when you grab the book. There's some bonuses in there, and it'll teach you how to ask better questions. We'll dive deeper on that part. The 4th one is ask more often. And this one's counterintuitive, but sometimes it's the right person, it's the right problem, the right solution, it's the wrong time. And that's not personal. Maybe they get paid next week. Maybe it's a personal tragedy happening in their life. And so you take it as a no, you're going to go cry and boo-hoo about it. But really, it's just a not yet. And then the last but not least is ask for a referral. People, they liked you. They got the result, the desired transformation. You're awesome. Say, hey, if you appreciated working with me, if you got value from working with me, who are 2 more people that I should talk to? Would you introduce me? Not only do they convert higher than any other lead gen, you've already paid for them.
Right. It's so simple. So easy.
I'm Bruce Hill, and New Skills New You, and I make sales simple.
No, that's how our business has grown. We have an agency. I think we've grown 99% by referrals.
That's beautiful.
And so, yeah, it's just been adding value, helping fewer people make more money, and it's been really great. So, guys, go check out the book. Where can they find you? Are you on Instagram?
Yeah, it's New Skills New You everywhere. At random.
New You everywhere. Instagram, Facebook.
Fanbase. Shout out to Fanbase. That's my favorite platform, and I'm on there. Man, LinkedIn, Pinterest, I don't know, Tumblr, whatever you need. Wherever you're at.
Is Tumblr still a thing?
It is actually.
It is real?
Yep.
What about MySpace?
I don't have a MySpace. You got me. All right, almost everywhere.
All right. So, hey, thanks, man, for coming on. Hey, if you guys need sales help, go check out the book. Hit up Bruce. Tell him I sent you. And guys, we do this every single week just for you guys. $1 Million Secrets. This alone, I feel like could take people to $1 million.
I've helped a couple of people make $1 million.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that's why we bring people like Bruce and many others on the show, because we want them to help you get to that 7-figure level and above. So if you like this, hit the subscribe button. If you're listening, you know the drill. Go ahead, subscribe, and leave a review. It helps us out. Those are like, and let's do referrals. Can I give a call to action for a referral?
Send this to 2 people you want to see win.
There we go.
There we go.
That's my first referral on the.
You're welcome.
On here, so thank you. That's a referral-based call to action. So, guys, thank you for being here. That's $1 Million Secret Show. Bruce, have a great day, man. Appreciate you.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Thanks, guys.